In my personal belief, talking about watches just as mere objects is not a good approach. Let me stress the just in this sentence, as I do believe it is important to buy good quality watches. However, quality is not the only thing that should be defining a purchase, but rather be a supportive pillar to it. I have a modest collection of about 14 timepieces. I would be lying if I told you that all of those pieces do have a certain meaning to me, and subsequently, not all of my watches get the same amount of wear time. Some of them I really do like, some of them I like fairly less, and some of them I still have no idea why do I actually own them. I think this phenomenon is known to every watch collector around the globe, and everybody will agree with me that it is the most common of things. Yet very often during different conversations, I hear people talking about different models and watches and brands in the form of a spreadsheet. It does this and that, it has this and that. It doesn't draw a picture in my mind of what makes this watch unique or interesting or worth grabbing. Over time, I started viewing watches not only just as an accessory on my wrist, but a reflection of my life. All important watches in my collection have a very interesting meaning and or a story tied to it, and therefore my daily choice of wear mostly boils down to which one of those watches feel like they belong the most, or which one of those watches has a story that I would like to carry with me today. Let me give you a couple of examples. During some of my most important meetings or interviews, I found myself wearing my grandfather's Slava. The man has achieved a lot in his life, and I have carried his memory as a mantle over the years. Now I use this watch as my lucky charm to those meetings in hopes that the ideas that will come to me will be influenced by his presence on my wrist at the moment, so to speak. It may sound incredibly sentimental, however, I've noticed that in life it did help me at times to feel much more confident when I needed this sort of an external boost. Now, of course, this is a little bit of an extreme example when the sentimental value of a watch outweighs the specs. That does not necessarily mean, though, that no other watch, even one fresh from a store, may not carry a deep meaning and absorb a story. Another example would be a video that influenced the way how I perceive the watches today, which is Adrian Barker's video on the Explorer 2. You can find the link down below. The ICKs will now forever be burned in my memory in connection to this specific Rolex. I cannot emotionally understand this watch as anything different apart from those snowy, icy, deep caves in which this Rolex now, in my eyes, belongs. We usually talk about those watches in this regard thanks to the history they have, but not every brand has such a rich history, especially if we're looking into the world of indie or micro brands or anything of a sort. However, this can be created if we find a different approach for these watches. A design language, philosophy of the brand may shift our perception of it. Even circumstances regarding a watch or the history that went after it, almost anything can shape the story around it, making it much more than just an object. I think creating a balance in this conversation is very important. The beauty of a wristwatch comes from many different things, from designing a mechanism and pushing the boundaries of watchmaking to creating new and exciting ways of conveying a story. Watches are incredibly fascinating from all different aspects and should be admired from all different perspectives, emotional perspective being one of them. That's how I want to talk about watches. Not as specifications on a page, but as objects that accumulate meaning the longer they stay with you. Not as things you simply own, but as things that slowly start to resemble your life. That's the reason this channel exists. Thank you for watching. See you next time.